And now, here's another episode of On Campus with your host, Coach Mark.
All right, just made history here at Auburn. Practice is about to get started here, but I just finished the podcast with Coach Thompson. And I got to tell you, the reason I say we made history is because I've never done a podcast, this is the first, where the primary subject was our faith. Now, certainly we talked about how it relates to baseball and our journey and coaching and playing. But overall, this was a very different conversation. And, you know, when I made my list of content, the things that I wanted to go around the country and talk about, one of them was faith in sports. And then what I did was I went back and I said, now, who would I like to talk to? Who's my number one draft pick for that subject? Well, it was Coach Thompson here at Auburn. I didn't know if he'd be willing to do it. I didn't know if we could put it all together, but we did. It's in this video. I am so excited for you to watch this. And without further ado, here's Coach Thompson. We're talking faith in sports. Well, Coach Thompson, I got to tell you, I've been looking forward to this so much. So first and foremost, thank you for taking time and meeting with me.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what, I got to be honest with you. I'm doing these podcasts all over the country, and we're talking baseball. And I love baseball, and I know you love baseball. But today's topic is even more near and dear to my heart because as a Christian, I'm trying to grow every day, and I've got mentors, and I've always considered you a mentor. And I'll tell you why, because I know what you're doing here, and you are everywhere I go. It's the same. Even Greg talking today said the same thing, consistency. And I'm sure it might even come up in our conversation today. But you as a strong believer in running an amazing program in the SEC, that's what I want to get into today. So let me just start with your personal faith story, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, first off, Mark, welcome to Auburn, Alabama.
Thank you.
Plainsman Park, we're sitting here looking at the field. It's kind of a different perspective coming out here coaching every day and sitting with you.
Yeah.
And I throw it back and thank you for what you've done for so many. Getting to meet you through the baseball process, or when you're helping guys get, and it looks like you got a new platform now to make a difference, and you've done that in the sport of baseball. So,
yeah,
man, I'm honored, and I was excited when you gave me the opportunity. And I put a disclaimer out that, you know, my faith is still evolving.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I'd have became a Christian sooner.
Mm-hmm.
I was in college, and I think the person that led me to my faith was Brian Shoup. That was my college baseball coach and my mentor, and probably the reason why I'm sitting here talking to you today.
Yeah.
And Brian Shoup was such an example to me. And then I knew I wanted to coach college baseball. And that kind of parlayed into me wanting to be a Christian, wanting to be a leader, and wanting to do it that way. I thought there was a bigger impact than just the baseball and the skills of it, with the faith being a huge part of it. And, you know, I'm still failing every day. You know, it's about, you know, Jesus Christ and my Savior, being a Christian. And I'm trying to show that to others, but I don't want them to be the example. I don't want me to be the example because I'm still under repair. I think about this week of arguing with a parent and being triggered and getting upset and all the failures with my wife and my own family. But there are some values, and I hope there's a consistency. Yeah. You mentioned that word that I grabbed that's really important, where I want to do right. I think, you know, we're trying to win a championship. We're trying to get to Omaha like these other great programs, and we're trying to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I also recognize there's things bigger than ball. And as I got these guys for a year to 4 years, there's got to be something deeper and richer than just what we get from the baseball experience or from an amazing college degree. But that as a coach, my my purpose would want to extend to something deeper and eternal. So that's
you know,
what
I can really relate to that, because I don't know if God gave me these words one day, but the words "it's bigger than baseball" just kept coming up to me. And you know, when you hear that, you say, "Okay, what am I doing?" I mean, I've got a platform, but if this is all it is, maybe that's not enough. And so that's the journey I'm on and you're on. So I appreciate your perspective because you're at the top of the food chain in college baseball. And so you're the best of the best. And yet there's more than that. So I appreciate that so much. Let me ask you something. You go back to what you said when you became a Christian, and you also mentioned already that the trials and tribulations and being triggered and conflicts and stuff. Did you ever have, and I'm saying this for the listeners, that maybe aren't familiar what it really means to be a Christian. Did you ever have the notion that as soon as you became a Christian, everything was just going to start working out for you?
I think that's the young Christian.
Okay.
It's still in the infant stage.
You're like, check, got this covered now.
Life's about to be perfect. I think it got tougher.
Yeah.
I think it got more challenging. Yeah. I think I was convicted by more things.
Right. Right.
And I should have mentioned to you on your first question, September 5th, 1992 is when Scott Mitchell.
I want to hear how that happened.
You had Coach Shoup that was just pouring into me as a player for a couple of years. I came from junior college in Mississippi to Birmingham Southern College, and those 2 years of him pouring into that example, I saw him as a husband, father, as a coach, and the lessons he was teaching us as a team just finally convicted me.
So I got to stop you there. So his example, not him beating you over the head with the Bible. Because a lot of people, I hate to say it, there are some people that think it's about convincing other people. It's not really. It's about being an example. And he was the example to you. So,
it was the example.
So you probably, I'm just guessing, maybe we as a non-Christian, let's say, weren't really aware of that impact until it maybe happened for you.
Yeah, I think I was walking through college and I'm like, I don't want to give this up. I don't want to give up the fun, the teammates, the worldly stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. I think the bigger thing was like I was about to transition into being a coach.
Yeah.
And I was going to go from just being an individual team player and taking care of myself to like, I was going to be a pitching coach. I was going to have an entire pitching staff. I was going to be a leader.
Right.
And I thought I needed more than myself. And watching Coach Shoup, it made me like, what kind of coach do I want to be? And thinking of the significance and the impact, I just, at an early age, see an example helped me so much. And I'm like, I think it's time to give my life up because now I'm starting to impact. I'm starting to get behind the wheel.
Yeah.
I'm not riding in the back seat anymore.
But what's interesting, Coach, is that not everybody comes to that conclusion the moment they decide they want to become a coach, that they want to be a coach for life and spirituality. They want to be a great baseball coach. Like that's their focus, But for you, right out of the gate, no, I want to be more than just a great baseball coach. I want to be a mentor of young men.
Yeah.
That sounds like God kind of put that on you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And I felt that. And I was mentioning Scott Mitchell. I just was another assistant coach there that Coach Shoup was doing his thing because even today, not all my players are Christians.
I was going to ask you about
We're trying to recruit the best players.
Yeah, right.
I do think after 10 years, there's an identity to Auburn baseball. I'm thankful for that. We've been here long enough. And I believe John Maxwell said it great from a recruiting standpoint. You get who you are, not always who you want.
Yeah,
right. And I think that's starting to cultivate and take root in our program here after a decade. But we got people from all walks of life, and we should.
Yeah,
we're a public university.
Sure. We want to be light, attracting.
And we have some families and players of strong faith. We have some guys that come here to play SEC baseball. But along that journey, because I don't know whatever seeds we plant.
Right.
That's the way I see it. That's what Coach Shoup did for me. I finished my career before I accepted Christ. That was a few months afterwards where it finally settled on me. And I always tell players, like, who knows what our time together is?
Yeah.
What harvest that reaps?
Yeah.
A year from now, 10 years from now,
yeah.
20, 30 years from now. I always tell guys, look at Colonel Sanders on the chicken box. That secret recipe didn't come out to the nation until he was older.
Exactly.
And we all have these different stages in life of where we figure out, like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
I think me accepting Christ was fully understanding, like, I'm about to start a coaching career. I've lived my life to 19, 20 years old now, but what kind of man do I want to be? And I think I just had it come over me, like, I figured out like, all right, this is the identity. This is what kind of man I want to be.
Right.
And I didn't want that ship to leave harbor without, Jesus kind of being my leader.
Right.
Being my faith.
How did Coach, if you don't mind sharing, this is pretty personal, but do you remember actually how it happened? How did you come, did he say, let's pray the sinner's prayer? Did he say, if you don't mind, how did that happen? You remember?
It was in the dorm at Birmingham Southern. And
Yeah.
It was after a camp or something. And like I said, Coach Shoup planted all these seeds, and then Scott Mitchell, one of the assistants there, is the one that just prayed for me.
Oh, really?
As I was sharing, like, I'm getting ready to coach, and he's like, what all have you learned? Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? And as I started asking all those questions, and he just started, it was easy for him. It was just, I was already teed up.
It was natural. So it wasn't like Tuesday night at 7, I want to meet with you to give your life to Christ. It wasn't like that. It was God's timing.
Yeah.
Coach, you're one of mine now. No, this brings up another question I had, because I don't know your whole story. Did you grow up in a Christian family, or were you exposed to that? Because a lot of people, again, there may be some people listening, you can grow up in a Christian family, but never commit your life to Christ.
Yeah, I think I grew up in a normal family.
Yeah.
From the standpoint of my mom's the sweetest spirit that's ever walked this earth to me, and the best cook.
You get it on.
But we were irregular. My mom and dad both had GEDs, and they both worked hard. And they'd come home, and I'd go to church with my friends, or we'd go for the holidays.
Yeah.
But it was very irregular. So I think I always believed in Christ.
Right.
But there's one thing to say, I give you my life.
Yeah.
And that's why I say September 5th, 1992. And as you're talking, I'm still recalling and thinking of I think I was ready, and Scott was that vessel that was sitting there that I'm like, I got a few questions because he was strong in his faith.
Yeah.
And I said, I want that.
Yeah.
Because of all that time that Coach had invested in me. And, you're going to get different things that you leave with different players. But it taught me how to make sure from year one coaching all the way to starting year 33 or 25 years in the SEC that I could tell. The one thing I got right is from year one, as soon as I started coaching, I could tell young men that I loved them.
Yeah.
And that I know that was born straight from faith.
Wow. I was going to ask you, okay, so you give your life to Christ, you're basically immediately into the coaching ranks, mentoring young men, and now this faith is on the front line. Was it challenging to now, this is a new language, and telling somebody you love them is a new language.
Yeah.
Was it challenging, or was it just like, wow, I'm like born again?
Yeah. There was some peace in my heart, but then my dad got sick. I didn't start out coaching in the SEC. I started out, $150 a month, no benefits, living in the dorm and a payphone at the end of the hall, living with the players.
You're bringing back memories.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it started kind of rough. I remember Mark Jackson with the FCA, Coach Shoup. Here's his imprint on my life. I was in Montgomery, Alabama at Huntington College, just an amazing, small college, a great place to start your coaching career. Coach Shoup calls Mark Jackson with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes there in Montgomery and says, take care of my boy, basically.
Yeah.
He just is starting his journey. And Mark, not only him and his wife, family gave me another $150 a month just to make my ends meet.
Yeah.
And so I just always tried to remember that moving forward, because he brought some other people along aside of me to help me on this journey. But it was hard. Like I said, my dad got a horrible diagnosis, which he lived for a long period of time after that. But it just seemed like there was a challenge each and every day to make good decisions, and you felt like you had this new calling and this new life, and you had to live up to a standard. And I think when all that clicked in, it made life tough, because I felt like I was failing at something every day. Before that, I didn't have that feeling every day. Before I was the conviction.
Yeah.
The feeling of regret when I'd make a mistake. It was like when I was a young Christian in the infant stages, I was keeping score, wins and losses.
Right.
And that took a few years probably for me to grow out of.
keeping score. What an interesting way to describe it. Like you got a report card. I'm doing good. I'm doing bad. So help me understand a little more of, as a baby Christian, what that was like. Maybe even if you remember any examples, what that was like.
Yeah, I think it's like in dating decisions. Now I'd moved to a new town, and there's a girl or two. You go through all those relationships, vocabulary. The words you say and how you use them, and you're either edifying, building somebody up, or you're probably saying the wrong thing and making it harder. That would be a player. I was a young player. I was only a couple of years younger than the players I was coaching.
Yeah, that in and of itself is a challenge.
And you know what that is when you're that close. Am I going to run with them?
Yeah, right.
Or am I going to be an example for them?
Yeah. Hey, Coach, we're going out Saturday night, and here's what we're going to do. You want to go with us?
And creating that separation, I think I did a nice job of, but the desires of a young person and wanting to hang out and what people would call normal stuff was a huge internal struggle and different thoughts and crossroads that I had to deal with that I'd never even thought about before.
So a lot of people that I hear talking, they call them rules.
Yeah.
They say things like, I'm not ready for all the rules. Did you feel like they were rules, or did you feel like it was you were living for a new standard, a new meaning, a new purpose?
Yeah, and I had the game wrong.
Yeah.
It took me a while to understand, I guess the rules of the world had been in my mind my whole life.
Right.
And I made a decision to accept Christ, but I didn't understand the new rules. It took a while to understand that this is basically like in the new world of coaching now that we talk about a lot. This is process over results.
Right.
And it took me a while to understand this is faith.
Yeah.
And this is grace.
Yeah. Right.
That you've been given. And I was still trying to apply the humanistic side of everything that I'd learned, I'd spent all my life doing. And that's why I call it the infant stages of being a Christian.
Yeah.
And I would say the first thing if young people are listening to this, or somebody that's just first becoming a Christian, eliminate every bit of that. This is a whole different freeing. And I guess the biggest thing I would want out of this is for people to understand, once you become that new creation and you've accepted Christ, you got to start thinking about faith and grace. And Bill Walsh has got a great book, 49ers football coach.
Right,
it said the score will take care of itself.
Yeah, exactly.
And understand what you have made a profession of faith with and how this grace has been given to you. And there's a freedom with that. And so it took a while, and I stopped keeping score. And then I understood some of these principles of what I actually was born into.
Yeah.
And that was my game changer.
It's like the weight of the world goes on your shoulders, and then it's off. We know where the weight of the world is. It's not on our shoulders. Christ died on that cross for that, our sins. But you reminded me of keeping score. I had a friend say this to me. I invited him to church with me, and here's what his comment was: "I'm not good enough."
Yeah.
And it crushed me, because he's a good friend, and it just indicated to me his version of our Christianity is we have to be good, we have to be perfect, and he's not, so he's not worthy. And boy, I'll tell you what, that's not our faith at all. We fall short of the glory of God every single day. We were saved by his grace.
Yeah.
And, I say to people all the time, you've heard it, there's only been one perfect person to walk the earth. It wasn't me, and it wasn't you. And what an amazing message for.
It's just another trap.
Yeah.
It's like results. Yeah. You'll never become a Christian if that's what you're all caught up into.
Yeah.
If I thought I had to be worthy enough, I'll never be worthy enough. I would have never accepted Christ if it had to do with my worth.
Exactly.
My life verse came out of that, being with Scott and accepting Christ, and I have to keep going back to that. 2 Timothy 3:16, all scripture is God-breathed and is useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness. And I've held on to that. But another failure of mine that I would report to you today is I'm 54 years old. And last year, really 2 years ago, when I was 52, somebody had asked me, another close friend had said, "Have you ever read the Bible all the way through?" And I could not give a positive answer to that. And that convicted me.
Yeah.
So you did it greatly. Last year, starting at age 53, starting January of 24 till December 31st.
Now you're challenging me.
Through my church.
Yeah.
They had it chopped up, Old Testament, New Testament, Proverbs, Psalms, and every day. And I've read the Bible from cover to cover. And I know I still only understand about 3% of it, kind of like my iPhone.
Yeah.
But now for the rest of my life, I can look you in the eye as we come and get together today and say, yeah, I have read the entire Bible.
Okay. I'm convicted.
And as you're doing stuff, I just wanted to be able to say yes to that the rest of my life.
For sure.
And that absolutely convicted me. And maybe it doesn't convict somebody in another way, but it did me.
Yeah.
And that life verse, I felt like I was compelled to read this Bible, and you just keep stumbling on things. We're never going to be worthy enough.
Yeah. No,
but for me, that's from the other side, the dark side.
Right.
Of
that's
keeping
the lie,
you.
Right.
It's the lie that keeps us from experiencing the cross.
Yes.
And what happened for us.
Yes.
And I would just call that out, like we're never going to be worthy enough. Yeah. But somebody loves you so much that he's created a way for you to get through this. But yeah, the results, I'm not worthy enough. I have to change everything I'm doing. At the end of the day, my life's been blessed and enhanced, and so many people have come in my life, and so many doors have opened. Some doors have closed, but by just surrendering, it's been amazing how much I've been blessed.
That's the word, surrendering. Let me get into maybe a little practicality of our faith. We're faced with these every day, hundreds of things coming at us. And I would like to think our faith impacts our behavior. It impacts our decisions. It impacts what comes out of our mouth. You mentioned that. But we all slip up sometimes. But how would you say it has impacted you in a positive way? Like what behavioral changes? Handling stress, handling adversity, handling horrific things. How has your faith helped you in that way?
Yeah, I think when I'm rolling good, I think I can pause for a second and say, hey, we used to have the wristband and say, what would Jesus do?
Right.
But if you can pause for a second, like this is a big deal my words I'm about to say is a big deal.
Yeah.
Can you help me? Can you give me the words?
Yeah.
What
have you experienced that? Have you had it where you felt like this is not from me?
Yeah.
Because I have.
Yeah.
I can give you some examples. I won't today, but your experience.
1,000 times. Sometimes young people, last year we had two of our parents pass during our season, one opening day and one during our regional here last year. What are those words you say to that player, that family, and try to be there for them? Tough situations where there's disagreements. And then, there's the one recently of me lashing out when there's so much going on and this hits you, and without taking a pause and resetting in my faith of becoming, and going to anger. And that's why I'm saying that would really crush me back in the day.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be meek either. I don't want to be a meek Christian.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm supposed to be called to at least a higher standard of being able to understand. And I still fail in that. Yeah. I just don't think I crush myself the way I used to.
Right.
That. I think I'm quicker to ask for forgiveness, and those still happen.
Yeah.
Which there's consequences, and there should be consequences to me. But I know because of my faith, they're fewer and far between.
Yeah.
And most of the time when I'm hit with something that feels uncomfortable, I just stop and pray. They talk about pray without ceasing.
Right.
And I stop and pray and give me a minute to take a deep breath. Whereas as an early Christian, or even before becoming a Christian, there would just been a blurt of reaction.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that, to be able to pump the brakes and kind of seek the faith and what would Jesus do, and what would a Christian do? Because I know I've lost some people through the years yelling at an umpire or something like, that's not a Christian.
Yeah.
And, so I'm not always the best example, but again, I want Jesus to be example. It's not me.
Yeah,
exactly. I want to be used and understand that, I'm just trying to use for you to see somebody else, not really see me.
Right.
But I do understand people are counting on me. I do understand that I don't want to lose my witness with the people that I care greatly about or that I'm entrusted with.
Well, I'm thinking of another group of people, Butch, and I really wanted to get into this today, and that is the people who are looking for you to fail. There's a group of people out there that, as we say, be bold in our faith. Well, the moment we put our faith out there, there's a whole new group of people lining up to find you failing and then singing from the rooftops about your hypocritical ways. Now, I think as Christians, what we're saying is we are all short of the glory. We are going to make mistakes. So why would it be a surprise to those people? I would say, watch me. I'm going to make mistakes. Yeah. Like, you can point them out all you want. I'm trying my best, but I'm going to make the mistakes. But you're on a high pedestal. Everybody knows. Have you experienced any of that?
Of course. Of course.
And how do you handle that?
That I'm just, I'm a man and I'm saved. And,
okay.
That I'll continue to let people down. But I have a calling.
Yeah.
And I have a purpose.
Yeah.
And I've been given that right and that opportunity of a lifetime to coach baseball.
Right.
And I just keep telling those guys, don't just look at me when you think I'm doing good or leading you well. Mm-hmm. I want you to look at me when I make a mistake and I can look you in the eye and say, I apologize for that. I can come back and say, I made a mistake there.
Yeah.
I wish I would have done this as a coach in a ball game, and I wish I would have said this better as a Christian man.
So you've already said two things that really, really perked my ears up today. You said that you are able to tell other men you love them, which in our macho world is just a weird thing for a lot of people to even imagine. And then I apologize. That's in a man's world. A lot of people think that's weak.
Yeah.
What do you think about apologizing?
Yeah, I think it's a necessity.
Yeah.
Unless you're perfect. And what you talked about. And if you're not perfect and people are constantly, I just think we have to give an account.
Yeah.
I think I'm with my players enough with each group and the guys that have come before in this year's team that I just think they want me to be, I think we're trying to build trust with one another.
Yeah.
I don't think I have to be perfect standing before them.
Well, when you're around other people that do understand our faith, nobody's expecting you to be perfect. Right. I'm not, for sure. One of the best pieces of advice I was ever given, I was really struggling with a riff in a relationship where the other people decided not to talk to me.
Yeah.
Which I'm a talker. Let's sit down, let's work through this. There was none of that. And this went on for a couple years. Okay. Now, I was struggling because what happens is you start resenting that. You start building up like, well, you know what? If you're going to be like that, I'll be like that. And if you even come to me, this is the human talking now, you even come to me, maybe I'll be the one that says, no, I don't want to do that. All this, and, I'm like trying to, get rid of this terrible spirit. So I go to this minister. I sit down with him, didn't know him that well. I tell him the whole story. He listens patiently and he goes, I don't have any magic words for you. I would just tell you, be an easy forgiver.
Yeah.
Man, you talk about, it's all he needed to say. He didn't give me some long dissertation, just be an easy forgiver. So I made a commitment that day in my life to be an easy forgiver.
Yeah.
And that's changed everything.
Well, how much freedom is associated with that? Because, if we sit here and harbor something that we can't forgive because somebody's wrong, and we've wronged somebody else, but if we're not forgiven, that other person's probably not hurting near as bad.
Exactly. They're not even thinking about it. Yeah.
They've moved on.
Yeah, we're in our prison of unforgiveness, but I see it a lot.
But our ability to forgive is freeing, and I understand that. I think I've felt those same situations that you just outlined.
So you're saying you've forgiven every umpire for every bad call, right?
Except for no, I kidding. Of course. Of course. Of
course. Man. Such good stuff. Hey, I want to switch gears, and you mentioned an organization, and I for our listeners that maybe aren't familiar with FCA, are you guys very active here at Auburn with FCA or any other Christian organization?
It's neat. I think we're FCA. We're Athletes in Action.
Okay.
We've actually brought a lot of our ministries together with our different sports around, and we call it Team United. So the FCA has been on every campus I've ever been a part of. My
son
career.
Liberty was really involved there.
Yeah.
And great organization.
Athletes in Action is big in baseball and have the summer collegiate teams. And
yes.
Scott Shepard's a former Auburn baseball player that served as our chaplain here for Auburn baseball for our first 10 years. He was under that umbrella. This will be his first year where he's taken a leadership role on campus and bringing all of the different affiliations together as one. That's why we call it Team United. So he's taken that, and we have a player that's played here at Auburn for us the last couple of years and now has moved into the ministry, and he's our new chaplain. Mason Mainers was a really good ball player here, played at Jacksonville State and transferred here in the portal after he graduated from there and played his last year here. He's with the FCA, but so we have all these different units associated with some of our athletic teams, but Scott has moved into this role to bring them all together on our campus. This is a strong campus that is pretty opening to anything.
Which is not what, the general public is hearing and thinking about college campuses these days. There's a battle raging on, but I'll tell you what, there is a spirit here for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel it. I'm from the Northeast. I come down here. I mean, they call it the Bible Belt for a reason, but there is a spirit of love around here, and I can't wait to spend some time at your practice today, because I know with your leadership, I'm gonna feel that, with your guys as well.
And we are. Auburn University is so inclusive, but there is a faith. This is a land-grant institution, that's just has an amazing spirit to it. And I want to encourage everybody to get a copy and just Google and look up the Auburn Creed.
The Auburn Creed.
Auburn Creed.
Okay.
We had a former football player, and he did a lot of other things. He taught, he did some George Petrie. I want you to look up the Auburn Creed.
Hey, it's Coach Mark here. Sorry to interrupt the episode. We're going to get right back to it, but I wanted to remind you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It helps us immensely. We want to keep providing great content with these college coaches who are so gracious with their time to provide information for you, whether you're a coach, a player, or a parent. This is really good information that these guys are providing. We want to keep doing it. So to help us, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button. That way, when we post something new, you'll get notified. Okay? I thank you in advance. Now, let's get back to the show.
Okay.
And read those 3 or 4 paragraphs.
Yeah. Is there a link to it? Because we could put a link into our.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll put a link to that in our description now.
Whether you're a Christian, if you're a leader, if you're a husband, a father, a wife, I just think you'll all agree there's common principles within there that he wrote for Auburn and men and women, and it's just been adopted. And we hold to that strongly. But I just encourage everybody to look at the Auburn Creed. I think it's amazing.
You heard him, Auburn Creed. Check the link below. Coach, I'm going to ask you a really tough question here. What challenges do you face as a Christian running, in this case, a baseball organization, high profile, SEC? You're not bashful at all about your faith, so everybody knows, but what challenges does that bring for you? Like, some people might say it's too much, I'm just going to be quiet and just coach baseball.
Yeah.
But you didn't make that decision, obviously.
No, I think that's the easier route, because when, I don't know. I want it hard. I don't want to walk through this journey. I don't want to be a coach and just,
you want it hard. That's an interesting statement.
I think
you're not taking the path of least resistance.
No, I don't think there's as much fruit to bear. I don't think there's as much enjoyment.
Yeah.
I don't think there's as much difference-making power in the easy road. I want that for my 3 girls, my 3 daughters. I want that for every player that comes out here. We did a drill yesterday called Chaos, which is 1 hour, and it's faster than a real game, and it's tougher than a real game, and it's 4 stations, and it's pushing, and it's taking the extra base, and it's digging back a little deeper, And
sounds like a lot of people's life,
yeah,
including mine.
and it's we could have had a much easier 1 hour yesterday.
Mm.
And I've juggled with that for a lot of my career in building men. But I think at the end of that hour, I can touch them on the shoulder and I can look them in the eye when I call them back up. And I'm like, you grew today.
Yeah. Right.
The pressure to make a diamond.
Yeah.
The coaches and people you respect more of your past and your upbringing were the ones that got more out of you.
Yeah.
That told you like, hey, I think you can do more than you think you can do.
Right.
And somebody that's willing to push you to the edge to find that, those are the people that made the biggest impacts in my life.
Right. Exactly.
And I want to balance everything, and this isn't war, and this is a game.
Yeah.
I got all that.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to push these guys because I know what's ahead.
Yeah.
I know they're going to play one of the top 5 schedules in America this upcoming spring, and just out here playing patty cakes, not going to prepare them to have success in that.
Right.
I know, just like last year, if we're, in the Sweet 16, but we don't qualify for Omaha, that's a failure. I'm thankful to be part of a program that's built it to a standard, if you will, that those are the goals and desires. And if they're not reached, there's more disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Those are not negatives to me.
Yeah.
Those are positives to me.
Yeah.
I think about our 2 World Series teams, just to stay on that thought for a second. We were the last team not to qualify for 18 because the extra innings, a ball hit our glove and bounces over the fence, and we don't get to go to Omaha. And I think that's how we got to Omaha in 19, by having to go through that
spare flag, right?
road.
Yeah, right.
Having a way below par season in 21, I think that created the opportunity for the 22 team to go to the College World Series. I think all those things happen. So we have to choose hard, even though a lot of times this day and time we want to choose easy.
Right.
We want to choose the status quo.
Yeah.
We want to choose, we want it now.
Yeah.
All of those things. And I'm trying to sit here and tell young people, like, man, I want you to have the world. I want you to get everything you want. But don't listen to that lie.
Right.
That something amazing is going to happen and it's easy.
Right.
And I guess I have to say we're talking about our faith here and choosing to be a Christian. Man, that just made your world like you're choosing hard in a lot of circumstances. Yeah,
you mentioned it right out of the gate, and your life got harder. And I just think that's a really powerful concept. And now you choose hard, you seek hard, because that's where the growth is. Now, you bring up the younger generation, and I'm not going to be the classic old guy here complaining about the young. We've been doing this for forever, right? Everybody complains about the younger generation, but are you finding it harder? You've been doing this a long time to help these kids understand what you just said. Going through adversity is not a bad thing. We don't run from it. We embrace it. Is it harder now, or is it about the same?
I think the techniques have changed, but I think truths and principles have never changed. And I think as long as I can keep connecting with these guys and feel like I'm winning them over, regardless of what type of results we're getting out of this thing, as long as I can keep getting through to them, I'm happy to coach. I'm thankful to coach, and I love it.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, there's multiple things, and the world's just shifting and changes, but they're distracted.
Yeah.
They got people in their ear more than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, we're paying players now.
Yeah.
We're treating them like pros, but these guys are bigger and faster and stronger than anybody ever
noticed that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I know your son had gone through the life of playing in the SEC and everything.
Yeah.
But these kids haven't changed. They got more impressions and more people pulling at them.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they can find somebody that they trust and you're consistent, they're there.
Yeah.
And they'll work. And none of those things have changed.
Okay.
People are wrong if they're making those claims.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not in the pit with them.
Right.
They absolutely, what we have to do with young people is they have it tougher than we had it. we didn't have somebody that could just sit here and video you.
Yeah, exactly.
What if all our moments were video? That's why I never try to give a claim on, oh, I'm a Christian and I'm all this perfect. I don't. That's the only uncomfortable of doing an interview with you is trying to claim that I'm something better than somebody else or I got it figured out more than others. That's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying that the older crowd that's listening to this, we did not have as many eyes on us, as many people tugging at us, as many distractions. Yeah. Their self-worth, not just my players, but my daughters too. Their self-worth are people lashing out at them or telling you to do this. They're consuming more. Yeah. And I do believe in channel capacity where we can only handle so much. And I keep, first thing I'm doing with these guys, this age group, and faith is an example, but what I'm trying to do with these players is I'm asking them to answer the question of who are you? You know, what is your...
A lot of them have not asked that question.
Yeah, and I know they're still young.
Yeah.
But it's time.
Yeah.
Because if you wait till you're after college like I did to become a Christian, I missed 3 or 4 years of that. I could have made a difference more. Yeah. I could have been stronger in my faith earlier. I could have had compounding interest working longer.
Right.
But I want them to wrestle with the question of who you are and what are you going to limit? What are your responsibilities? Where are your spheres of influence? And to get into a channel capacity where I can be I'm going to figure out and try to be the best student I can be, person I can be, baseball player I can be, love on my relationships the best I can. You don't have a lot left to do 10 other different things.
Yeah, right.
You start juggling more than 2 or 3 balls, you start dropping balls. And identity, and then drill down to what your real responsibilities are. But I think the biggest calling for me that helps young people find their faith, and whatever that may be, is making them give an account of who they are.
Yeah.
Making a pitcher stand before his team and say, this is who I am as a pitcher. This is who I am as a man.
Right.
But it's one of the most galvanizing, biggest things that happen in someone's life when they can stand up in front of a group and be uncomfortable and all these distractions and all these things picking at them and say, this is who I am.
Wow.
This is the rock I stand on.
Yeah.
This is my mountain.
Yeah.
And I think where my challenges come and where I see a lot of young people is they're trying to play multiple personalities.
Yeah, right.
And they're still trying to figure it out. I can tell when a player is about to take off, when I'm like, he really knows who he is as a player.
Yeah, right.
And even more, like he really knows who he is as a man, or she really knows who she is as a woman and a person. That's when people start thriving.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing stuff. I mean, I'll be honest with you, when you're speaking today about that kind of thing, of course, I'm asking myself that question. I can't not, but it came to me so easy. I'm a child of God. That's how I feel. And he loves me unconditionally in spite of my imperfections. So again, for all those people out there that think Christians are walking around, at least not these two guys, thinking we're perfect, we're acknowledging our imperfection, but we know that our Savior died for us. We know we are saved. We know where we are going when this crazy thing on this planet ends. What an awesome feeling that is.
Yeah. When we find a belief of who we are and whose we are, it's game on.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And, I use a sports psychologist. And like I said, all the things that I'm trying to temper of like that I get wrong. Yeah. One of the things I got right is just being able to, when I make a mistake or when a game is taken from us and we don't get the result we wanted, I always have an identity statement of like who I am, and somebody helped me with that. It's like, well, if I can follow Christ and love my group and make a difference when opportunities present itself, if I can just keep claiming that, I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one other word I want to talk about before we wrap this up today, and that's accountability. Because I'd like you to talk about it, but I'm 99.9% sure you got amazing people around you that love you so much that they're probably, even though you're the leader of the organization, they're not afraid to hold you accountable. You want to be held accountable. But, I love when I look about the people around me, I know they love me so much, they'll tell me the truth. So tell me about your accountability partners here at Auburn.
Yeah, and that's why we've continued for our program to be blessed and to grow. And we got more people coming than ever. We got, as deep of a roster as we've ever had. You and I are sitting here looking at a $30+ million renovation that just took place. But the biggest thing we have here is our people.
Yeah, right.
And you just look at my two associate head coaches, Gabe Gross and Carl Nunemaker, and those guys are going on year 9 with me, and I'm starting year 11. Greg Dry, who helped you today to get set up,
right? Just awesome, dude.
Been with me 14 years.
I was literally thinking I should do a podcast with him because we got into some good stuff right out of the gate.
Yeah, and he's behind the scenes, and he's just here to serve every day.
Yeah,
I mean, I can go on and on down the list of all the people on our staff, but we have continuity. They've been here. That they love Auburn baseball, which is number one. They're great at their job. They're like-minded. I think, when I said you get who you are, not always who you want, they're attracted to this place. Auburn University had over 55,000 applicants for this university. Only 6,000 people, are let in each year. This is a good place to be. But I think the strength of our program is the continuity and the people that we've had. So Gabe played here. Gabe played in the World Series, and Carl and I had coached together before here. So I got those are at least 2 men to keep it short of are fully invested in what we believe in, but at the same time will absolutely knock on my door or tap me on the shoulder and say, "Hey man, what about this?" Because we don't need everybody making you feel good.
Right.
My number one accountability partner, as I'm sitting here rambling, is my wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I talk about I need to be a stronger Christian, I need to keep growing, even though I've been a Christian for over 3 decades now, is I've probably been the worst and said the worst things and had the worst days with the people that I say I love the most on earth.
She's seen the worst of you.
She has absolutely seen the worst, and she's a saint.
How long have you been married?
This will be year 33.
Congratulations. That's a phenomenal success story.
She's seen the worst of me. No matter if anybody's seen the worst or if anybody's out to get me, she's seen the worst, and I believe we love each other more than anybody on earth.
Obviously, she's a believer as well. Absolutely. So she's, as much as wives would love their husbands to be perfect, I don't think if they're Christians, they expect that.
Yeah. She's been amazing. And
that's awesome.
I can't answer the question without her because all the behind the scenes away from the game and the accountability and living in 9 different homes and coaching all these years. She's been the constant. Her father was a Methodist minister, just an amazing man. He's passed, but she's always had that light. And when I say I got to go to Scripture, that's why I read that Bible all the way through. Yeah. I would say that's only 2 years ago. Where have I been going when things got the rockiest for baseball or in life? It's been with her.
Right.
Most coaches, coaches get all the credit. You throw them under the bus too, but the coaches get credit. I just say the vast majority of the time, there's an amazing spirit, an amazing wife or husband for the great female coaches out there. There is an amazing spouse there that has been through that whole journey and been an amazing rock and a light. And I'd have to give Robin most of the credit.
Well, Robin, thank you. Because the old saying is, behind every good man is an even better woman. And I agree. I have the same situation. My wife and I, we've been married 32 years. We're polar opposites. So literally just about everything I think's good, she doesn't. And I think back and so many times God just speaking through my wife, just good counsel, not what I want to hear. Not what I want to hear. And now I look at her and I go, man, God just speaking right through you, Tim. You got me. You got me. So I'm glad you brought that up. You guys watching this, you coaches out there, your wives are put there for a reason. Listen to them. Listen to them. God is working through your wife to get to you. So to wrap this up, because we're really down to the wire, what advice could you give somebody who wants to run an organization from a leadership standpoint, from a faith standpoint, because we talked a lot, adversity and accountability, but there's guys maybe watching this that are sitting there going, I really do love baseball, but I think I'm like these guys. There's more to it than that, and I want to do it, but I'm just not sure I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
You were there as a 21-year-old kid. What advice could you give them?
Now, after all these years, just a couple of things that I think are very important, because hard kept coming up in this deal, and I didn't think about that word till we sat down. It's going to be hard, so you got to have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll just give 2 measures of a plan.
Yeah.
One would be to take 5 and start your day. I mean, it's really hard. It was hard for me my whole adult life for somebody to say, hey, you got to start your first 3 hours of being on your knees. And, just getting realistic.
I mean,
people do. I just hold them in the highest regard.
Yeah.
But you can get 5.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay. In
Take
the Word.
5.
In the Word?
In the Word, in something.
Or just quiet, reflecting, talking to God.
You can get straight to Him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you can get straight in the Word.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important. The other meaning of take 5 is when you walk into your home each night. And I just talked about the nights that were the toughest for us as a husband, as a coach. I guess we're talking to coaches. And take 5 when you walk in that house.
Mm-hmm.
If you just had a bad phone call, if you just lost 2 recruits, if you just lost a game, take 5 minutes. Even if you got to drive around the neighborhood, because if you can get that first 5 minutes right, you got a great shot the rest of the night.
Yeah, right.
But you can ruin the first 30 seconds when you walk in the house, and you've ruined the rest of the night.
Great.
Maturity
Great advice.
is to win those first 5.
Right.
If you can grab 5 in the morning, and if you can walk into your home and do those first 5 minutes right, you got a shot. And then my other plan is you got to have good men or somebody with more wisdom around. You got to have a Paul, a mentor. You got to have a Barnabas, maybe somebody at the same level as you, going through the same things in life to hold you accountable. Yeah. Then you got to have a Timothy, somebody, that next generation where you're trying to make a difference. For me, it's my players. For my Barnabas is Scott Sullivan, just an amazing man that played here at Auburn, played in the big leagues almost 9 years. Actually, when we moved from Mississippi State to Auburn, we just started knocking on doors around his home to live next door to somebody that would be a brother and a mentor.
So what do you mean guys were knocking on doors?
I'd been here at Auburn as an assistant.
Yeah.
And when I left for 7 years before I came back as a head coach, I'd been on staff with Scott Sullivan. And then during those 7 years, he just became like a brother to me in Christ. And just as I was living life as a husband, as a father, as a coach, just be the guy on speed dial that I'd call. So when we moved back to Auburn, it was no brainer that we need to be close to him.
Mm-hmm.
So we found somebody right next door that would take our offer. So It was less about the house and it was more about the location to somebody. And to this day, just being in this community through the last 10 years, through the good, through the bad, living life with somebody that absolutely will shoot you straight.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we need. That's what we need.
And then, Coach Shoot is that Paul, somebody that's deeper in your faith, a coach that you would look up to that's a generation older than you. I think of Ron Pope. I think of Keith Madison. I think of Hal Baird. I walk on average once a week, maybe, 5 times a month. I walk 9 holes with Hal Baird.
Is that right?
And he's our all-time winningest coach. The first base dugout's named after him. He's still pouring into me with those wisdom of running the program for so long.
Yeah.
He's been a mentor to me.
Yeah.
We put seats on top of this monster because that's what he wanted.
Oh, wow.
And it didn't get done the first time when this was amazing facility was built.
Yeah.
Having a Paul and a Barnabas and a Timothy in your life gives you that purpose.
Right.
Makes you more well-rounded, and you don't have to do this alone.
Yeah.
I think it's been hard. How many coaches have reached what people would deem to judge them as greatness, and they haven't had that amazing wife behind them?
Right.
They just do it alone.
Yeah.
And plus, if you're doing something alone, you're beating your chest.
Yeah.
How much fun is that?
Yeah.
You need some amazing people and structure to share this with.
You remind me of another thing. We are all winners where we want to win. We love the competition. The goal is to win. You're paid to win. But we see it in all walks of life, entertainers, where they reach this pinnacle and it's still not enough. It's like this thing just keeps going because they're always going to have a hole in their heart or a void.
Yeah.
So when I think about these young guys, maybe thinking about leading a team, I would say no matter how many national championships you win or how many kids get scholarships, you run the risk of looking back and go, what was it all for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Success, money, accolades, they're dangerous if you're not prepared for it.
Yeah, I think they're like, I don't want to say temptations, but that they're illusions.
Yeah, they're hard.
Yeah.
If you don't have, I'm just saying, that's why I love touching young people.
Mm-hmm.
Before you get out in that real world, this is a game. You're pretty sheltered.
Yeah.
You're pretty protected. We're going to love on you.
Yeah.
As hard as this is, and as people having to play at LSU and having to play at all these amazing places around, I could just start naming all the schools in our league. I mean, it's just a game.
Yeah.
But when they get out in life, I want them to have a structure.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had 16 major league pitchers since 2014.
Wow.
But when they leave here, I don't go with them.
Yeah. Exactly.
I better, while they're here, I better help them figure out who they are.
Yeah.
What their identity is as a pitcher and as a man, and try to make them more bulletproof with put the right people around you.
Yeah.
Take 5. Just 5.
Yeah.
You're just going to get so busy, people are going to pull you in a million directions.
Yeah.
Just promise me you'll take 5.
That's great advice.
And just some of those things are maybe little seeds.
Yeah.
I guess I'm a seed guy. I just want them to have little seeds because it gets real out there.
Yeah.
And if all that fame and stuff hits you before you've consistently taken 5 and before you have that structure of people, man, just, keep building off a great foundation instead of trying to pick up your pieces.
Right. That's great stuff. You're talking about seeds. You've had players that have gone on. You just said, did you say 19 big leaguers?
16.
16. So, okay, 16 is amazing. But now some of these guys have a platform for their faith. And I really did want to touch on this today. The platform that some of us are getting in sports, through sports. Is there an example maybe that comes to your mind of somebody that you maybe had coached and had great success, but he's taken that to another level? Is there anybody that comes to mind?
There's several. First off, just generically, it's not generic. It's like one of the biggest blessings of my life is when one of these boys call and say, "Hey, Coach, I made it to the big leagues."
I agree.
And it's 9:00 at night, or it's whenever it is, they're catching a plane or they're going to be here tomorrow. To get that call, and they got their parents and all that, but to give me that call, and they wanted me to hear it from them.
By the way, nowhere near your level, but this was a historic summer for me because 3 former players made their big league debut that I coached.
So you know that feeling.
Cole Young, Sal Stewart, and Nick Rickey. Nick Rickey was out of baseball completely. He called me up and said, "Coach, I got to give this one more shot." And when you know it, left-handed pitcher, made it to the bigs this summer. But I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's just generically because you can absolutely, with those examples, you know exactly what I'm feeling.
Balling.
Yeah.
I mean, Cole, they had him on YouTube calling his parents.
Yeah.
Everybody balling.
Yeah.
It went viral. So, no, I definitely do.
Those are the meaningful things.
Yeah.
But those are, other this is the little things. When you hadn't coached somebody in 10 years and they come back and they go like, if they ever give you a hint of whatever they say, and it's like, I'm a better man because of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you made a difference. You don't know what I was going through at that time.
Yeah.
Of how you touched me and got me going.
Yeah.
And I don't want any credit for it. I'm just saying, those are the amazing things that keeps fuel.
Yeah, it sure does.
That keeps fueling a coach.
It sure does.
I mean, if any players have played ball and you're out and there's something you've been thinking about telling somebody that's made an impact, or a coach that's made a difference, or a teacher, man, don't let that go another day.
Right.
Because you have no idea the impact and the fuel for somebody to keep doing that, to keep coaching, to keep teaching.
Yeah. Years after the fact. Years after the fact.
That's when it's more special.
Yeah, it is. It's like, really?
For these players to come back, it's neat now to be here 10 years. I've never been in one place for 10 years.
Yeah.
As an assistant all those years, and you're leaving every 3 or 4 years. But now after 10 years, man, I got these boys, these former players are coming back, and they're bringing 2 kids with them and their families, and they're coming home.
You're like, wow.
You know how good that feels.
Yeah. And the impact. And I know you're not gloating on this, but they would all say the same thing, that they watched you, they learned from you. Yeah. You are a mentor to them. Some of them I'm sure have grown in their faith. Some of them are using their platforms to expand the glory of God, which, we're called to be fishers of men, right? And some of these guys, and that's a trend I'm really starting to see in sports. Maybe it's just because I'm paying attention to it more. I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of high profile athletes now that are getting bolder in their faith, and I love to see it.
We love to see it. I know there's a movement going on. There's where Christ is working through people. We can see it on our campus and others.
Yeah.
And there's one example. To clarify, we talked about the 16 pitchers making the big leagues and getting those phone calls is great, but finally getting to answer your question and wrapping it up is we were having recruits in, so we were out eating in public here a couple of weeks ago, and a former player just finished an MBA here. He's a former player because his first 2 years, he got here, couldn't get him on the field, and eventually cut him. In a certain way, SEC coach is a judge.
Yeah.
And it got harder and harder. And I was never good enough to play in the SEC at an Auburn or any of these schools. And now that's my job, is to pick who's going to be on the roster and who's not, with a ton of advice from great coaches.
Still hard.
Those 16 big leaguers, there's hundreds that didn't make it.
Right.
And there's another large number didn't even get to stay here for their whole career. And this boy stayed and got his MBA. And we made eye contact across the room, and he absolutely come up to me, and we gave each other a hug, and he told me first, "Coach, I love you."
This is a kid you cut.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. True story.
Well,
and again, those are blessings to me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's kind of like, look, again, there's some tough decisions, and I've made some hard. And I'll have to do it again this year.
Yeah.
And if I coach next year, I'll have to do it again next year. And if somebody wants to get into law school, or somebody wants to get in our engineering school, there's consequences. And at some point, you're going to be judged, and not everybody gets in.
Right.
That boy has got faith. That boy freed me.
Wow.
Because you never want to do anything, but I never wanted to hurt anybody.
Right.
And those are just as amazing as getting a phone call from somebody that made it to the big leagues, is when, you ended it and it's part of their journey.
Yeah.
And they stayed in a fight.
Yeah.
And they get a degree and they get an MBA.
Yeah.
And they can come back and say, "I love you." Do you know how much of a man that is? How free he is?
That's the pinnacle.
How people without faith, or people that are not, it makes me feel not wired right, have to hold that grudge.
He could have come over and said,
for the rest of his life. He could have done anything.
I was good enough. You ended my
He could have run the whole meal. He could have kept us from getting every recruit. He could have done everything.
Yeah.
But he didn't have, he's got Jesus sticking out of him.
Jesus in his heart.
And you can see it.
The blessing of forgiveness. And I know you won't say this, Coach, but he had enormous respect for you. He may have not liked that decision, but as a leader, you have to make tough decisions. He respected your decision. He loves you. His baseball career ended, but he's going on and doing amazing things.
He's going to do amazing things.
Yeah, that's a great story. Well, we got to wrap it up. I mean, you got a practice to run. I can't wait to watch your practice, but I'm telling you, this has been so special for me, and I can't wait for people to watch this, because I really want to be a light in a dark world, and you certainly are doing that, and I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Life's amazing.
Yeah.
A relationship, and hadn't seen each other a while, and circle back around, and we're here for you to let me sit down and tell a bit of our story. Thanks for what you're doing.
Well, we're brothers in Christ, so that says it all. Thank you.
Yes, sir.